Hello, everyone. As people start to roll in, we're just going to wait for a minute. We'll probably start in probably about 3 minutes. Oh, so bright in here. Okay. We're going to look like ghosts for just a moment. But I just wanted to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I am Katie DiTilio. I'm the Senior Legislative Affairs Associate for WREN, and I am joined by the lovely Ashley Lido. She's our Chief Strategy Officer. Ashley, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Katie.
All right. So we are going to get started with our Ask Ren webinar. We're just going to talk about what's next in this coming session, what we're doing, what we're looking out for, and then how you can help. So really excited, but we are going to go off screen now, coming at you live from the Richland Library. All right. There we go. So, just a few housekeeping things before we get started. This webinar is being recorded. Chat may only be used by the co-host to share important links, contact information, and so forth. Today we are joined by the also lovely Aisha Jones. She'll be in chat looking out for questions since I cannot see the chat while I am in screen recording mode. So she is there for your convenience and assistance. We're so happy to have her. You can submit questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. It's like a little blue thing next to the record. You're like microphone, Zoom. And then live captions are also available in that taskbar. The icon to enable them is the control panel at your Zoom window. Okay. And then now we're going to introduce ourselves. So I briefly introduced you, Ashley. This obviously is your what's it called?
Extensive bio.
Yeah, you're, just at a glance. No. But what would you like to know? Could you introduce yourself?
I would love to. So, hello everyone. My name is Ashley Leto. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Chief Strategy Officer here at WREN. I'm very happy to be a longstanding WREN staff member, have been here since the founding, and my favorite thing about working at WREN is that I work in community with all of you to make sure that we're advancing policy out in the world of South Carolina to make it a better place. So, other than that, if you ever want to know more about me or connect with me, my email is always available, and I am very available for folks to shoot me a message.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Ashley. It's a busy session, so I'm glad we were able to like take the time to come and sit here and meet with everyone. Thank you again for being here.
Welcome.
Um, This is me, guys. This is me. My name is Katie Attilio. I use she, her pronouns. I am the REN's Senior Legislative Affairs Associate. I love doing these webinars, but also a part of my job is going to the State House and helping with our legislative priorities. And also, I'm a lot of the comms part of it too, in the sense that I help write the updates and send it on out. So, a lot of fun stuff I get to do, and I'm really happy to share this information with you today about what we're doing. So what we're doing, by the way, presentation objectives, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's who we are and then what's going on right now. So our current priority legislation, a forecast, and then answering any of your questions. So you ready to get started?
I am. Just want to remind the audience this is for you, so please utilize that question and answer box. We want to make sure that you get everything you need from us.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so who is Ren? I kind of bumped by the transition side pretty quick, did a double click. But who is Ren? I always like to start off with a who we are in the event like this is your first time like in our content, meeting us, seeing us. So Ren's mission is to advocate, educate, research, and convene community in service to women and girls for a more equitable South Carolina. I'm not going to obviously read extensively, but advocate. We are partnering up in community to promote policies that support economic justice and reproductive freedom. Educate, that's a part of this right now, right? Coming onto the webinars, giving you information about our bills, also giving you information about our policy areas generally. We've had really great webinars on diaper need, on the Crown Act. So if you missed those are available on our YouTube page. If you would like to go watch those. We also research. This past year, 2025, we released a very large, comprehensive status of women and girls report. I call it a month-long love letter to South Carolina. And so that's a part of our like research initiatives. We want to kind of show everyone what it looks like right now and then how we can all work to make it better. And that kind of plays into that convening community, right? We want to go out into community and make sure we are doing the policy work that matters to you and to us. So Aisha, who's actually on our chat right now, is always out in community, always doing letter writing workshops and advocacy 101s, and we get together with our partners. So that's kind of what REN is. This is what we do. And so nice to meet you if this is the first time we've met you. I mentioned earlier our legislative priorities. So we have two pillars. That's economic justice and reproductive freedom. Um, in short, economic justice, we mean everyone should have a good job. So that means childcare, paid family leave, and workplace non-discrimination. You should be able to live a good life. And then reproductive freedom, that would be things like protecting access to abortion, protecting access to IVF, and improving access to doula and lactation services. Ashley, I want to talk a little bit about these. So these are our 2025. I put 2025, but it's the 2025-2026 full session legislative priorities. We aren't leaving these in last year.
Yeah.
Why did we pick these two? What do you think? Is one more important than the other? Anything like that?
So WREN has these two pillars because they actually are functioning one and the same. It is our leadership space within the state of South Carolina of where folks need attention. You actually cannot have reproductive freedom or economic justice without the other. So you cannot have economic justice if you do not have a choice over whether or not you can have healthcare decisions for your own body. And you are not going to have economic reproductive freedom if you actually can't afford to pay for that healthcare that you so desire. So just want to make sure that everybody's very clear. None of this is job dependent or is related to the have versus have not. We truly believe the value that every person deserves basic dignity. And so within
Right.
our mission and our vision of an organization, we are here to make sure that all women and girls in South Carolina can thrive in whatever way that means for them, which is also tying back to our convene with community. We're not here to dictate what your life needs to look like. We're here to support all of the ways that you want to make choices for yourself.
We want to make sure you have everything you need to make the best choices for you.
Yep.
So I'm excited to talk a little more about our priority legislation that falls under those two pillars. So we're going to start with childcare. So Ren believes, and I believe, and Ashley believes, that high quality, affordable childcare is vital for women to participate fully in the workforce, and that we will advocate for policies that make that more accessible. This falls under our economic justice pillar. And we have Senate Bill 47, which had a really good hearing. I meant to grab the picture. I use it all the time in these webinars. So if you have been to another webinar, you have definitely seen Senator Tom Davis's smiling face with all of those children. But Ashley, can you talk a little bit about Senate Bill 47 and why it's so necessary?
Sure. I'd also love to ground us in understanding when Katie's talking about a hearing, and we just started session. South Carolina has 2-year legislative cycles. And so we're talking about a continuation of our work that we started in 2025, and we'll work all the way till May of 26 to try to get things over the finish line. So Senate Bill 47 expands a current tax credit for employers so that they can help support their employee workforce in trying to access childcare. Childcare is not just a family issue, it is an economic issue for the entire state of South Carolina. Because as you've seen from the amazing work of DSS and those billboards across the state, work does not work without childcare.
Yes.
And so it is something that we take very seriously, and we have a huge coalition of folks all working on this policy. And we would love for anybody who wants to be engaged in this to take action on the bill to try to get us another subcommittee hearing. And also, please share your stories on how childcare access, whether you had it or not, impacted your daily lives. We are utilizing those stories every day in the legislature to try to get some movement to re-emphasize the importance. And so stories really matter in our advocacy journeys.
Absolutely. Stories are the most powerful advocacy tool we have. And if you want to share it with us, we do also have a storyteller initiative available on our website. If you want to work with us in sharing that story. So we are excited about Senate Bill 47. Like Ashley said, we would love to get it another subcommittee hearing. So you can use the link on our Action Center to tell your senator, hey, let's get another one on the docket. Let's get another beautiful picture of Tom Davis smiling with children so I can use it in my webinars. Um, all right, so that is our that's our child under economic justice childcare. We have paid family leave that also falls under the economic justice. And we have 3 bills on this. I want to talk a little bit about that. So women should be able to take time to care for themselves or a loved one without jeopardizing their security. Um, and we are going to continue to push for those policies. So what that looks like for us this year is we have a House bill that's 3645, and then 2 Senate bills that's 10 and 11. The Senate bills are just the House bill split into two. So the House bill would expand who goes into that list. So people who work in universities, um, and then extends the weeks out. So right now we have a 6-week paid leave ban or ban. Oh no, guys, I'm sorry. Let me slow down a little bit. We have a 6-week paid leave window, but we want to bump it out to 12 weeks. And then if you're like a secondary, not the primary caregiver, that would go from 2 to 4. So then Senate Bill 10 and 11 do the fix to expand to grant employees, and then Senate Bill 10 does the weeks. Ashley, you want to talk a little bit about these bills?
I do. So in 2025, we were successful in both the House and the Senate to move policies forward. So you'll see that House Bill 3645 is actually now in Senate Finance, waiting to get a hearing.
Mhm.
And Senate Bill 11 also passed the Senate and now is in the House. So it's part of that legislative process that we love to teach you with a Advocacy 101 or Legislative 101. Again, see Aisha Jones for those in your local communities. But that is great progress for us moving forward. Our goal is always to try to get folks who a minimum of 12 weeks, whether they're a primary or secondary caregiver. And we also are incorporating a policy that we worked on with the Attorney General and teachers across the state to ensure that stillbirth is included in this round because of a interpretation issue that came up during implementation. So again, this right now is looking for us like increasing parental leave for state employees, whether
Mhm.
they are full-time, grant focused, and then also the teacher workforce. It's an all-encompassing project, but we are taking that next step to hopefully, in a few years from now, try to get a full paid family medical leave program for the state of South Carolina. Again, we are always trying to start where we can to build to our long-term vision. So same with childcare, where we're looking for universal childcare. One day we hope to keep building with all of you to get a full statewide program. So really want you guys to keep sending in stories. If you're a state employee or a teacher who's utilized this, it would be incredible for you to weigh in and get us some positive momentum in the House and the Senate.
Absolutely, yeah. And I want to really emphasize the storytelling aspect of this because the 6 weeks paid leave came along because a state employee told their story to their senator. So, you don't know if your story is going to be the one that sparks the change, right? So, again, just storytelling is so important. Um, I see a raised hand from Beverly Brooke.
I would go ahead and Beverly, whatever you need to say, put it in the chat and we'll address it when
Yeah.
we get right to the end of the webinar.
Yep.
I like to keep my flow.
Keep
Thank you for
it. Yeah.
allowing me to have that.
Yes, absolutely. So the next kind of umbrella under our economic justice umbrella is workplace non-discrimination. So everyone deserves to be in an environment that is free from discrimination. And so we will advocate for stronger workplace protections that would ensure women, especially those from marginalized communities, are treated fairly. And that manifests in these three bills, right? So we have Senate Bill 584, which is the Crown Act. It would You are not allowed to discriminate against natural hair. And then we have 3160 and 3341, which are just both kind of more broad anti-discrimination legislation that would cover racial, gender, sexual orientation, discrimination in education and in healthcare in state spaces. Ashley, you have anything to add for these bills? Would you like to talk about them?
I would love to. So I want to acknowledge that we are what's known as a right to work state. So workers' rights aren't traditionally treated with the respect that they deserve in our state. And so to be able to and get any of these protections into place, it's actually the one of the hardest things to do.
Hmm.
So I want to acknowledge those pieces. And so the House bills as a comprehensive package builds on what protections you all already have. So if anyone currently has any sort of discrimination against yourself based on your race, age, gender. Oh goodness, I'm not going to get the whole listing, but
Hmm.
if you have that, please go to the Human Affairs Commission and file those complaints because you do have current protections. We need the more comprehensive policies because people are not interpreting gender to include sexual orientation and gender identity. We at WREN want a holistic coverage of all workers. And so that clarification is absolutely needed. And one of the House bills also includes Crown Act language so that racial discrimination has an explicit call out that you cannot discriminate against natural hair. So it's really important to us to call people out when they are doing discriminatory practices so that all people can bring their best selves to the workplace, their whole selves, and you need to be judged based on your skill, effort, and responsibility and nothing else about yourself.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, so they are, these are so important, and I would really like to shout out Senator Tamika Isaac Devine for her work on 584 and really being a leader in this space. We are so grateful for her partnership and her leadership. Um, all right. So that's workplace non-discrimination. We'll keep you posted on the progress of those as they move along. So now we're going to move into our second pillar, and that's reproductive freedom. And defending abortion access, I went ahead and when this one's up top, just because it's been pretty loud right now. So access to abortion is essential for people to make good decisions about their reproductive lives, their own decisions. And we will continue to fight against restrictions. So there's House Bill on our list here. I have House Bill 3537. I have House Bill 3457 and then House Bill 4760. I did not put Senate Bill 323 on here because it received a no vote in subcommittee. That doesn't mean it's like completely not a threat. We're definitely keeping our eyes on it, but it's less likely to move with a no vote out of a subcommittee. So House Bill 3537 is the death penalty bill that would make it a crime to quote unquote harm a fertilized egg at any stage of development, therefore opening you up to criminal liability like the death penalty, since South Carolina is a death penalty state. And then 3457 is the House abortion ban. And then 4760, we will talk a little bit more in detail late in just a second. That's an attack on abortion medication. So these are our three that I have on our slide. Ashley, do you have anything you'd like to add about these three?
About the three, they're all potential threats. So we did, if you have been following along with us this year in 26, we've already had 4760 and 537 on subcommittee agendas and have asked you to come out to the hearings and do your testimony. I will say that the death penalty bill ran out of time in that judiciary subcommittee. That does not mean it is dead, just like
Mhm.
Katie mentioned about 323. And I also want to acknowledge that there is a lot more abortion legislation that has been introduced in the state of South Carolina, and we are
Mhm.
not overwhelming you with all of those pieces until it is absolutely necessary to make sure that you understand the threat. It is very much something that we need to all be clear on, though. They will not stop at just a total abortion ban here in the state of South Carolina. They will not stop with just that until they get to a place where every single person related to abortion is criminalized. And so you will see that theme in all of the legislation that they put forward. They will try to say in some cases that they do not want to harm the abortion seekers. So, in a woman who wants to have an abortion, a person who wants to have an abortion. And yet we know from the antis that their long-term strategy is criminalization. So I want to make sure that's very crystal clear. Anytime you see any talk about exceptions or any talk about how, oh, we don't want to harm women, the long-term goal for them truly is to take away all access to abortion, whether that's in this state of South Carolina or if you want to travel out of this state. So I want to just make that emphasis point because we are very clear on where they want to go, and that dictates our strategy on how we fight back. We never put our guard down on abortion, which is why you see us talk about it so much, even
Mhm.
though we are actively pushing forward with proactive policies as well.
Yeah, we're not just, we're giving this the attention it needs and deserves, but we're not going to let it take up all of our time in terms of making sure good things are still happening in this state. Yeah, like Ashley said, they're not, I mean, they passed the total ban, it's going to be the next thing, right? So it's never going to not be a conversation here. Um,
Well, we're going to make sure that they don't pass a
well,
total
right.
ban
No, correct.
in community
Correct.
with everybody on this call and a lot of amazing partners across the state and the country that support us. So I also want to make sure that you
Right.
really hear me loud and clear. If we work hard together, we will stop this from happening.
Yes, absolutely. But let's talk a little more about 4760.
Sounds great.
So I have my Domino's pizza tracker for policy. You're going to see it throughout this presentation. So House Bill 4760, it would criminalize safe evidence-based medication by misclassifying it as a controlled substance. This is misleading and making people believe that it could be addictive or harmful. And it would reclassify it as a Schedule 4, which again plays into that addictive and harmful narrative. Right now, it is currently sitting at the second reading. So what that means, when a bill is introduced, it's referred to a committee. It'll receive a subcommittee hearing. Not all bills receive subcommittee hearings, most do. Subcommittee is where you can testify. Then you get a full committee, then they would pass it out to the floor. So right now, this would be on the House floor, which means all of the reps in South Carolina can now come and vote on this bill. So that's where it's sitting right now. Ashley, what would you like to add?
At the time of this recording, so we're to having a conversation with you live on January 30th of 2026. This House bill was read yesterday across the desk and is on the calendar for the House floor. In South Carolina, they functionally work on the House floor Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So this bill could come up as early as Tuesday if you're listening live. And that means over the course of the weekend and Tuesday, we need folks to be taking extreme action. I need you to be doing those emails. I need you to be making those phone calls. I need you to be sharing this information so that your friends and neighbors know that they are trying to take a very safe, evidence-based
Mhm.
medication that's not just used for abortion,
Right.
weaponizing current drug laws. So, in that reclassification, to try to criminalize people for their health care. And so, really want us to be very clear on this call. This is the next imminent threat. It is coming to us in the next week on the House floor. And this is an all hands on deck kind of moment so that people understand that this is unacceptable. Again, we're at the beginning of this process. So if we are unsuccessful in a vote next week, it will go to the Senate. But we have been successful before, like 323, of pushing
Mhm.
things back. So please engage in advocacy over the weekend and on Monday and share things from the WREN account so that we can have a unified voice in South Carolina against this policy.
Absolutely. The fight is not anywhere close to being over. We are ready to keep punching at it, and we need your help to do so. So we will keep you updated as this continues in the process. So that's 4760. We're going to talk a bit about the protecting access to IVF. So IVF is it stands for in vitro fertilization. And it provides hope to a lot of people who want to start families. And we want to make sure IVF remains accessible to all who would need it or want it. So there are three bills that we have here: House Bill 3652, Senate Bill 40, and House Bill 3107. All deal with basically protecting IVF as a reproductive right.
Yeah, so these bills are a proactive protective measure
Mhm.
for in vitro fertilization in our state. Every time that there's an abortion ban that defines life beginning at quote unquote conception, when a sperm fertilizes an egg, you are putting IVF access at risk in this state. So putting these proactive affirmative defenses in place helps counter that. I will let everybody know that it is very hard to get these conversations started because they do open up the abortion conversation. And so, as we are trying to proactively protect IVF, we actually cannot avoid the conversation related to abortion because they are actually tied one and the same. And that's our movements, the folks who support abortion access and those who want to protect IVF. It's actually a circle, not a Venn diagram. We're
Right.
all one and the
Right.
same. And so the IVF community has been incredible partners to us, and we will continue to fight for IVF access with a long-term vision of trying to get IVF not only affirmatively protected, but
Mhm.
hopefully paid for within insurance structures so that all families, not just wealthy families, have access to this family building process.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, proactive legislation, positive. We want to starting those conversations are good, even if the legislation's not moving. So we will keep you updated with anything on that. You can kind of assume that with everything. We're going to make sure we tell you everything, but I want to make sure to repeat that we are going to keep you updated in the form of our legislative updates and social media when things are moving along. Um, Clicked it. There we go. The next little umbrella. I keep saying umbrella under an umbrella, but that's not really how umbrellas work. But it's improving access to lactation and doula services. Um, and so new parents need affordable and timely access to lactation and doula support. A lot of people talk about like the pregnancy, the abortion part. That's always talked about a lot, and the getting to having the baby. But like, what about the support that goes along with that? So lactation and doula support. We have Senate Bill 42 and then House Bill 3108. Senate Bill 42 is coverage for lactation and doula services, and then House Bill 3108 is just doula services. Ashley, any thoughts? Anything to add here?
I really want to shout out the fact that we're in such deep partnership with lactation consultants and doulas from across the state of South Carolina, who we've been working in partnership to ensure that we're trying to get this coverage for them. They are taking a very active role in making sure that we understand the ways that they're supporting families and what they need to continue that support so that we can go to the state house while they're supporting families, we go to the state house. And so I really also want to emphasize this didn't come from just a random place. This truly bubbled out from communities coming together and inviting WREN to be with them in this fight. And so myself and Katie, as the WREN lobbying team, is actively having conversations with decision makers on how we get access for these services put into insurance coverages, and also actively making sure that we're participating in conversations with lactation experts and with the doula committee. So I just want to really emphasize to y'all how much in community these efforts are and how incredible those leaders are in ensuring that they are moving forward for families. So we are in active conversations. This is going to be an uphill climb also because the insurance companies are those private entities that don't want to do coverage. They don't like a mandate. So this is where we really need to emphasize how important this is for mothers and babies in the state. And so, again, would love for everybody to be in support of these policies, sharing their stories, and just sharing awareness that there isn't current coverage for lactation services and doula services in Medicaid, in PIBA, which is the state health program, and in private insurance. So there's lots of advocacy to be done here. Again, I keep reiterating, but sharing those stories, emailing us to get connected in on any of those committees that are working together. We're here to build this out together.
And I just want to call out again, just like this, our work does not work without our wonderful partners, without wonderful community members. Our work does not work without you. I just want to call that out again. I don't think we can say it enough, along with the storytelling piece, right?
Right.
If all right, so 477. Let's talk about it. She's been really moving this week, and last week. Ashley, how about you talk to us a little bit about the 477?
Yeah, so we're saying a number, but this really is what this bill does is an improvement on the Pharmacy Access Act that we actually passed in 2022. So this is in deep partnership with the Pharmacy Association and Senator Tom Davis. In 22, the Pharmacy Access Act gave pharmacists the ability to dispense contraception without you having to go to the barrier of a doctor's office. There's a joint protocol that was created from both physicians and pharmacists. It's basically like a checklist. And a pharmacist, make sure we're all on the same page. Pharmacists are the experts in medicine. So it's very obvious that they know how to go through a checklist and tell you if you can take an appropriate medicine. So this is meant to increase contraceptive access throughout South Carolina because we know we have so many healthcare deserts. The number fluctuates between 14 to 17 at any given time counties that have access to an OB/GYN. This is something that's a crisis in our state. So, by allowing pharmacists to do this dispensing of contraception, we're making pharmacies that are in communities without a like family practitioner or an OB/GYN able to do that service need for the people of South Carolina. We need the fix just because of a legal interpretation that happened during implementation. The Pharmacy Access Act has been in place since 22 and people are following it, right? So we do have 4 years of some pharmacists accessing this. When
Hmm.
we get this fix, it's going to make it much more accessible to the entire state. So it's been an incredible legislative journey. In 2025, we made it through the Senate, and we are already moving through the House of Representatives. And that is through some bold leadership from Representative Beth Bernstein, who ensured that her first committee hearing that she had this year had a Senate bill on it. And I like to call that out because that might seem like what the normal is. It's like, oh, a Senate bill passed and now it goes in the House. At the beginning of a legislative year, each body, like the House, likes to do House bills. So for Beth Bernstein to ensure that this fix could potentially get done early and fast is a deep commitment to trying to increase contraceptive access in the state of South Carolina. So her and the chairman, Weston Newton, deserve a lot of praise for getting this on their first agenda, and now it has come out of the full Judiciary Committee.
Yes, which I did want to point out my little pizza tracker. I made this on Monday and this happened this past week, so I forgot to go back in and move it, but it is on the floor. So hit up your representatives, tell them we want this fix so that we can improve access in our state. It's already such a problem, like Ashley said. So we do have an action link on our action page to let them know, hey, let's get this on the floor. Let's get it out. Let's get it to the governor's desk. So we are actually on the House floor, not in committee. So it should be on second reading. All right, and this is a long list. We mentioned before that we partner with a lot of different orgs. We partner on a lot of different orgs with a lot of different initiatives, but it's always making sure that it's in line with that advancing economic justice and reproductive freedom in South Carolina. And we collaborate also to stop harmful legislation. So I wanted to highlight these four here on the bottom. We're going to talk
In
about
orange,
in orange, yeah.
if you can discern
In
colors, yeah.
orange, yes. They're also in italics. If color, because orange is hard on my eyes sometimes. Um, I wanted to highlight these four partner bills because they have come up during these lightning 3 weeks of session. So we are going to start with 4756. It's an anti-transgender bathroom bill that would restrict access to bathrooms based on your biological sex. 4756 received its second reading on Thursday. It started on Wednesday. The debate started on Wednesday and then moved into Thursday, and it did receive its second reading. Once it receives its final and third reading on the floor, it'll then cross over to the Senate. So Ashley, I'm just actually going to pull up Senate Bill 199, which is also a similar bill, very similar bill that does the same thing, restricts access to bathrooms based on your biological gender. This one did receive a committee hearing last week in the Senate. So Ashley, let's talk a little bit about these two bills and why we're partnering on them.
Well, yes, I want to make sure that I keep saying crystal clear, but I really do like to make sure that everybody understands WREN's perspective on pieces. The bill sponsors of these pieces of legislation are weaponizing language to try to say that they are in support of women and girls in the state of South Carolina. And to be very clear, neither of these policies protect women and girls in bathroom spaces in any way, shape, or form. So I want to be very clear. The other thing I want to be very clear about is the difference between sex assigned at birth, which potentially is another conversation for a whole nother webinar of
Mhm.
being able to do that, and gender,
Mhm.
because gender is a construct,
Yeah.
and any of us, like we used our pronouns at the top,
Hmm.
can select the gender that we feel most comfortable with. The
Absolutely.
whatever gender identity I have is my gender identity.
Mhm.
So trans women are women. Trans girls are girls. Trans men are men. And we are absolutely crystal clear on that. They are weaponizing this assignment at birth as if they are doing erasure of what an individual person identifies as, and they are.
Mhm.
Point blank, stop.
Mhm.
And so trans people are not a threat to women and girls in any restroom or in any space in the state of South Carolina or beyond. So that's what I want to be very crystal clear about.
Mhm.
This bill is a weaponization to try to ostracize people and other them and erase them from public life. And we will not stand for it. I will not stand, and as the person who sets our policy
Yeah.
agenda, will not stand for someone to gaslight the entire state of South Carolina to say that they're supporting women and girls by harming a community. And so that's what's going on with these bills. The House bill is going to move over to the Senate. So we do need all hands on deck for both the House bill and the Senate bill. And we need to be very crystal clear that the trans people are not a threat to women and girls. Trans women are women, and we fight for all people.
Yes. That you put it so succinctly, I was like, I have nothing to add.
Yes.
Trans women are women and they are not a threat. So we are happy to work in partnership with AFA, with the Harriet Hancock Center, with the Ford and Ford Group, on with ACLU. I don't if I missed you, I still love you. I'm sorry. Um, but we are so thankful for their partners and we're so proud to stand alongside them as we fight. With them. So those two bills in two different places, like Ashley said, the House bill will cross over into the Senate and be assigned to a committee. So we'll keep you updated on what committee it's assigned to and when it if it receives a hearing. And then Senate Bill 199 was heard once in subcommittee. It did not receive a vote. So there would need to be another subcommittee to pass it to the full committee. So we'll keep you updated on both of these as they move through the process. Um, so the next partner bill I wanted to talk about is H 4757. It would require parental consent for non-emergency care and roll back confidentiality protections. So once confidentiality erodes, um, people are when parents have to be involved with decisions earlier, like they have to be involved, that can sometimes delay care for people who are not in as safe as situations as maybe others. So we do not like this bill. It did receive one committee hearing. Ashley,
I'm laughing at that. We vehemently oppose
yeah,
the
we
Parental Bill
don't
of
like this
Rights
bill.
piece of legislation, but I
Yes.
like that you said we don't like it.
Yeah.
You were generous to
Yeah.
the bill sponsors. We vehemently oppose
Absolutely.
Parental Bill of Rights, and this is actually a broader scope bill than what we're presenting to you. But we took our leadership position in discussing how much harder it was going to be to make reproductive health decisions if these protections were taken away. So currently in the state of South Carolina, if you are a mature minor, a provider can provide you with reproductive health care. This means that you could go get screenings for sexually transmitted infections. This means you could go get contraceptive access. This means you could go talk to somebody on any sort of teen dating violence, any of those kinds of components.
Mhm.
There's also a consent related to sex education component that also is impacted by this bill.
Mhm.
You have to also imagine what happens in the state of South Carolina in a place where you mature before the age of 18. You go through puberty,
Mhm.
and you as a minor, if this bill passes, couldn't consent to you could get pregnant because your parent didn't let you have birth control. But then your parent would have to consent to your prenatal care and they'd have to consent through everything that you're doing during labor and delivery. And they'd have to consent to all your postnatal care. After you give birth to that baby, you still have like a parent having to sign off on everything that's happening to you. And then you are then deemed a parent. And then in practicality, you are allowed to consent to an infant's care.
But not your own.
Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense. I
Yeah,
can't.
no.
So we've had a lot of really good discussions with legislators on those pieces and really tried to slow down for them what it looks like to take these protections away from those that are under 18. Those who propose this policy sometimes treat people under the age of 18, as if they are not human. And so we are trying to bring back the humanity of every person being able to access their health care in our role in this bill, and this will have a hearing, if you're listening in real time, next week. So it's January 30th. So the first week of February in 2026, this goes to the full committee, and we are hopeful that our conversations related to reproductive health care and healthcare decision making has made an impact on decision makers in that committee. We do need folks to reach out to them to reinforce that. Um, it is crucial for those under the age of 18 to be able to make their own healthcare decisions, and we hope that you stand with us on that.
Absolutely.
Vehemently. It's one of my
Vietnamese.
favorite words. That's why I've practiced
It's
it. I'm so sorry to
no,
anyone.
that's great. That's a
Yeah.
good one. It's a Scrabble word.
Oh, I can't spell it. It's a
Oh,
fun fact for our webinar viewers.
yeah. Um,
Don't have me spell anything. Thank you so much.
yeah, no, but we can't ask you about policy, right? So we
I
got a
hope so.
good, yes. We're gonna move on then to 3310 and 3643. These are bills that would make it harder for people to vote in elections. It would require you to register for a political party. So these two bills would make us a closed primary state, and that would limit participation. We have a participation problem already. And so a lot of people like want to be independents or don't want to register, and it would push those people out. Um, Ashley, you want to talk about these?
I do, because it might, for a general WREN user or somebody watching this webinar, you went, wow, Ashley and Katie said the words economic justice and reproductive freedom over and over and over again. And
Hmm.
it's a voting rights bill.
Hmm.
Why did they decide to take a tiptoe a step into this?
Hmm.
You will not have your reproductive freedom or your economic justice if you are not able to actively participate in our democracy. We cannot say that we are trying to fulfill our mission if we do not engage in voting rights protections. So, this is why we have stepped into this space, because a lot of the times in South Carolina, the primary is the place where you get to actually elect the person who's going to represent you at the state house. I do not like that fact, but it is a fact of our current political system. So, if someone has to register an affiliation to a party, it may kind of ice them out from actually participating in electing the person who's going to have a say on their reproductive freedom or economic justice. So, we made sure to vocalize this displeasure of these bills. And Katie, what happened
Hmm.
with that?
It did not receive a vote in subcommittee. So
Neither one of these bills, and they
neither,
were on the
yes.
same agenda.
Yes, they were on the same agenda. Neither one received a vote. And so it would need to receive another subcommittee, both would, in order to progress out of that committee to full, then onto the floor. So we'll keep you updated if those bills move. But as of right now, we are still in the subcommittee stage. All right. And legislative forecast. So now we're looking at the stuff that we have been working on. Now I want to talk about talking forward.
Mhm.
So, which of course includes the things we're going to keep working on. But first, let's talk about the pace of this session. Ashley, are you overwhelmed a little bit? But well, you might not be.
My
Uh,
sweet
I
pea.
know, yeah.
Everyone on this webinar, I have been lobbying the South Carolina legislature since January of 2013. I was 24 years old. Um, the second year of a 2-year session is always meant to be overwhelming.
Mhm.
It's by design in that, like, hurry up and wait, and then all things have to happen all at once because they realize, oh wow, we only have till May to do things. And we have House members on 2-year election cycles. And so it is an election year. So the
Mhm.
second year, to me, always feels like this.
Mhm.
Okay. Controversy right at the top and everything
Mhm.
having to happen at once. So that's why I also feel very confident when we're talking about these things about our strategy and having a tempered, focused strategy forward. I am not overwhelmed by
Mhm.
this moment because we have good partners and
Mhm.
we know what we're supposed to do. But yes, I can see, Katie, how
Yeah.
it's overwhelming for a lot of folks. And I also want to acknowledge that the state of affairs in the United States of America in 2026 is overwhelming under fascist rule. And I do feel confident saying that on recording.
Mhm.
So I want to acknowledge to folks that it is overwhelming at that volume. But I do not feel overwhelmed.
No,
Thank you for asking
yes.
me that as a panelist because we have the tools that it takes. and we have the community that it takes to move forward. But again, you wanted to point out all of the positioning that makes it feel like this whirlwind of a moment.
Right. And if you are receiving our emails and you feel overwhelmed, I also wanted to validate that. There's a lot going on. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're having to be concerned about the state of our union in general, and then you're getting emails from us about all these things moving, it can feel overwhelming. So I wanted to validate that. I wanted to tell you why that's happening. So like, Ashley covered it great. So I'm not going to repeat. Um, but also just to remind you guys, I wanted to use this section, take care of yourself, take breaks.
Mhm.
I've been painting by number, recommend it.
Oh,
Ashley, what have you been?
self-care tips on the
I
Red
listen, it
webinar.
doesn't need to be all business, you know?
Can't
What
do good business without self-care, truly.
That's true.
I will, so in Katie's line of taking care of yourself, we don't all have to have pressure to be everything to everyone. We want you to engage in advocacy in the way that you are healthy and safe doing it. We'd love for you to all be bold advocates. And in doing that, you have to be your full self in that. For myself, that looks like trusting in our team and our partners to be in it with us. And luckily, they've never let me down in that. I do know that we have a strong team and I'm able to take the time at night. If you, a little personal about me, I have a gorgeous daughter. Her name is Vera, and I spend most of my time, free time, with her, enjoying life and reminding myself of why we're in this fight. So that's my self-care piece is doing fun, silly things.
Just to, yeah, but like remind yourself it's not all bad. We got good stuff going on here.
Yeah.
And just to take that piece to let your brain calm down before so you can jump back in it at full force
Yeah.
if you want, if
And
that
Ren will
feels.
always be here to make sure that at whatever
Mhm.
pace you want to take,
We're
we
here to
will
help.
be right here with you.
Yes. So then what we're doing looking ahead.
Yeah.
So I have in big orange bolds, kind of like the big part. So we're defending progress. So we're pushing back on the bad bills that threaten our communities. Things
Hmm.
that we talked about earlier with the attack on abortion medication bill 4760.
Hmm.
We are going to keep doing that. As in the fast moving environment, we
Hmm.
have to look at all fronts. So we're going to keep defending.
Hmm.
But we're also going to keep building
Yeah.
on last year's momentum. We have a good, strong base from last year. Not even a base. We have like half of a house. And so we're going to keep using that, using those conversations to advance policy. We're not just on the defense. We're on the offense, and we're pushing good policy, people-centered, community-informed legislation. So that I kind of hit the second or the third bullet, but yeah, playing both defense and offense, and we're using those relationships,
Mhm.
the experience, and then you guys, the organizing power, right? And we're going to keep staying focused and strategic, even when they're trying to overwhelm us with everything.
Yes, and it's
Yeah.
our job here at WREN to help make sure that we have that focused strategy. We are going to remain consistent, sturdy leaders for everyone out in community. And so if you feel like you need some of that stabilization, Aisha comes out into community and provides trainings. Katie and I answer emails whenever you send them. If you want more tools in your toolbox, that is what we are here to do. And we have just an incredible partnership network. I can't list all of the partners that we
Yeah.
have in this state, and it helps us remain focused in our,
Mhm.
I hate to say lane, but that is the best way to describe it, is we can maintain our leadership and then we can also support our partners in their efforts. And then holistically, we can defend and push at the same time. So and that's
Mhm.
one of the things that makes us unique and what makes me so proud to be a WREN staff person as well.
Ren Birdie.
A WREN, oh
Oh
God.
yeah. Yes, we were very thankful for all of our partnerships. While we support them, they are absolutely supporting us, and we
Yeah.
would not be able, I said earlier, we would not be able to do it without them and without you. So these are the broad. We're gonna keep
Strokes. Yeah.
we're gonna keep fighting for you and with you.
Yeah. Perfect.
Um, so let's now go. We're going to answer some questions. Ashley, have you been seeing the chat popping off up top?
Well, I can't see the chat, but I've seen it popping off. So
It's
Aisha's
I'm
off mute.
the chat has actually been popping off because of me, yours truly.
oh, okay.
Dropping links in for our wonderful webinar attendees and also reminding them, as you all mentioned, to take care of themselves. And this is collective work, and we are here in service, but we can't do what we do without them. So I've been the one popping off in the chat. However, we do have questions.
Oh, that's
We have
great.
five right
Yay.
now. I would like to
Okay.
start with our questions, if I may.
Would
Um,
love
our
that.
Absolutely.
our first question is there a good website for bill tracking in South Carolina?
There is a publicly available bill tracker
Mhm.
on the State House website. If you go to WREN's YouTube page, I actually previously, it's a few years old. You'll be able to tell how old it is based on my job title when you get there. But there's a WREN playlist where I actually screen record me going through the State House website to do that. But functionally, for anybody on this call, if you can follow along with me, you go to sestatehouse.gov. Then when you look on the left-hand panel of that website, you're actually going to see tracking bills. You're going to have to know the bill number to create your own listing, but it is a free resource for that. Otherwise, my best advice to you is to find your political home, as I call it. So if you really love an issue area and you want to know what bills are relevant to that issue area, you find a WREN. So you want to know about women and girls legislation, you find a WREN. We have a priorities page where we list all those pieces. And we're also, again, we are real people. You can email us and ask us the question of things that are impacting. You can ask for technical assistance from any of us to show you how to set that up on the WREN website. That is literally our mission to help do this in community with you. And so also if you know another issue area, we probably have partners
So
in
we
that
can,
issue area,
yeah.
and we can't wait to introduce you to them because they're incredible people who will help you track that legislation. So again, reach out to us, myself, Katie, or Aisha, and we can get that for you.
Yeah, and I do also want to talk just a little bit the app, the South Carolina Legislature app. If you are using the search function on there, you can track certain like policy terms if you want to keep like a tabs on what type of legislation is popping up. For example, I have pregnancy tracked. So I want to know like anytime they're introducing a bill that has to do with pregnancies, it gives me a little notification so I can take a look at that bill. The app can be helpful, but it can also be irritating. So I do want to echo to Ashley's point. Find a political entity that you trust. We hope it's us, and we'll help you find stay on top of the bills that matter to you. Um, that's a great question.
Fun fact, you will find a how to use the app instruction with my voice on
Yes.
the WREN YouTube page.
And a wonderful
Uh,
voice it is. Oh, are y'all
Oh,
ready
I
for the
love
next
a
question?
compliment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. Let's
Okay.
rock.
So our next question is, when you're talking about discrimination, are you talking about anti-DEI policies as the legislature has identified them in 2026?
We are not. We are trying to put proactive protections in place to our current policies within the code of law here in the state of South Carolina. We are active partners on anti-DEI efforts at the legislature, and we follow the lead of the ACLU of South Carolina in those. So Katie tried to make it more digestible on this webinar and not show you every bill number. But we are active participants following the leadership. So every time you see partner bill from WREN, active participant following the leadership of an expert in a lane. The ACLU of South Carolina and the Pro-Truth Coalition are our experts that we look to. So if you want to look towards that leadership, go to Pro-Truth South Carolina, and they have incredible resources on the anti-DEI movement in South Carolina and how we fight back.
That was a great question. Thank you for asking
Mhm.
it.
Our next question is, do any REN partners include physicians that openly oppose these bills? If so, are there lists or recommendations of physicians we can access to support them?
Just so, I think I need that question in a different way, but I'd love to answer. So if that person wants to do a clarifying piece, in the chat, I would like that. And then I'm going to answer based on my interpretation and hope maybe that'll hit it. So we are in deep partnership with the South Carolina chapter of obstetricians and gynecologists, OBGYNs. Also in deep partnership with pharmacists, with the Pharmacy Association, also in deep partnership with the American Academy of Pediatrics chapter in this state. So there is a very large swath of providers in this state that we are deeply in partnership with. And outside of that kind of traditional physician, we are in deep partnership with doulas and lactation specialists in like the proactive and the defensive work, all working together. And no, we do not have a list. We would maintain their privacy in any of those pieces because there is a deep risk for them to be harmed as providers. So I would not feel comfortable unless they have publicly testified in connecting you with any of those providers. I do know of a comprehensive list of providers that are offering comprehensive services, and they put themselves on that list of being able to service folks. So, like providers that won't ask your husband if you want to be sterilized, kind of idea.
Mhm. Um, yeah.
I hope that answers a question, but
Mhm.
Aisha, if you see any
Yeah,
clarifying pieces, we can come back to it.
I will. I was going to say, if that did not answer it, please put it in the chat what you would like to, any additional clarification. Our next question. Do the legislators themselves actually read our emails, or does the office staff compile a report of our concerns for them?
That depends office to office, legislator to legislator. So it truly is just dependent on the person. And so that's why we always encourage when Aisha does an Advocacy 101 for you to really start getting to know your representative because then you will start to build that relationship and they may give you their personal email and their personal cell phone number as their constituent, and you could be doing those touch points. I will say that staff, yes, does compile. And so if we have you emailing the House Judiciary Committee, they are doing a count of how many people, and they potentially sometimes announce in committee, we received 800 communications on this policy prior to this hearing. And that makes a huge difference. So, yes, please continue to use our actions. They're the first step in your advocacy journey, though. So I would love to, if it feels too easy for you to click on our emails, I'd love to encourage you to kind of step up that weight. Like if
Mhm.
you were in the gym,
Mhm.
5 pounds feels a little light. Let's go to 10. Let's start picking up the phone and calling those reps. Or let's go try to make a meeting with them so that they get used to you and your communications. So that way, if they're opening it, they say, wow, Katie DeTilio's
Mhm.
email just popped up. I better read this one because I'm going to see Katie in community. She likes to call me.
Yes.
So
And I tend to people ask me a lot when I go and talk to them about like what's the best thing to use with with legislators, and I give like a similar answer with it depends on the legislator. So I just wanted to follow up, use this to follow up with that, just in case anyone was thinking it. There's not like a one size fits all plan that's going to work with all legislators. You really gotta get to know them. So good question. Thank you. Aisha, what are we looking at, Queen?
What we have next is it's not a question. It says, I don't have a question. I just want to say that this doesn't just apply to women. My stepson is gay and married another man, and he's in politics in Washington, D.C. They had a surrogate deliver their two children in North Carolina. So reproductive freedom and voting rights protection is for all. Keep up the good work and for all this wonderful information.
snaps and claps for that comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Our next question, can you talk more about the trainings y'all offer? And thank you so much for everything. Y'all are a gift to South Carolina. Well, thank you.
Oh,
Oh, excuse me while we turn it right back on Aisha
And
Jones.
turning
yes.
it back over to me. So I am happy to answer this question. So we offer a couple of different trainings. Advocacy 101 is one of the ones that we offer quite frequently all throughout the state. And that is basically a training with me. I do a wonderful slide presentation and talk to everyone about not just the importance of advocacy, but how everyone can be an advocate based on what's comfortable for you. Advocacy looks different for everyone, and there are levels to it. So, our goal with that training is to help you learn about advocacy, decide what advocacy would look like for you, and how you best want to use your voice. We also offer Legislative 101, which my amazing colleague Katie will typically lead those Legislative 101s. We give you just that an overview, a 101, if you will, of how the state legislature works. So we will talk about everything, a little bit about what we mentioned today, bill tracking, the bill process, how a bill becomes a law. All of that is encompassed in our Legislative 101 training. We also talked to you about how to find who your local elected officials are so that you can, again, as Ashley mentioned, start to build those relationships with your legislators. We also do letter writing, less of a training and more. We call it a workshop, but it really is fun for me. Those letter writing 101s is our advocacy in action. It is the answer to, I want to do something, what can I do? And so, letter writing workshops are very fun for me. Again, we come in, we show you again who your local legislators are, and we write to them, whether that's a full letter, whether that is a postcard, whatever you choose. We have an amazing letter writing toolkit. So for those that are like, I really don't know what to say, we've got you. We have that toolkit, and we will give that to you, and those letters get written, sent to our representatives at the State House. We also allow time in that workshop, if we want to kind of share a little bit about what letter writing means for you, or why that might be a chosen form of advocacy for you. It's a powerful way to also share your story, because we recognize not everyone's going to be able to come to the State House and maybe testify in front of a subcommittee, but that letter is still a powerful way to tell your story. So, letter writing workshop, legislative 101s, advocacy 101s. I don't think I've left anything out. We'll likely
Well,
add other
I would
trainings.
love to say that also within our scope of our team, as hearings come up, we do try to offer technical assistance in helping you shape your story if you want to testify. We try to do that. We don't do it as a consistent training offering, like where you write in, but if you wanted to do that, we could. And if any folks want any sort of customization training, give us the ideas and I will try to write it into our work plans so that we can be of service to you. And it could look like us just screen recording and doing a webinar just like this. So you could be the next genesis of our next educational piece for our community. We also have a really amazing advocacy toolkit on our website that I would love for everybody to go download that has all of these tips and tricks already written for you in written style. And you could actually go do your own training yourself once you feel comfortable.
And I am
Uh,
putting the link to that toolkit in the chat right now so that everyone will have that link. Um, and I will move on to thank you for that too, Ashley. Sometimes I get so excited talking about these things I forget, but
Of course.
that's a great question. We love those. My next question that we have is, or it's a statement and a question. I was very active in advocacy in Oregon, and I recently moved here. Welcome. Where can I
Welcome.
plug in locally if I am in Horry County? Oh,
Horry County has a really amazing group of folks. There's an Horry County Democratic Women. There is another group, I think Aisha's connected to them, that
voice.
they go and meet up at like breweries and things like that. I'm not going to get it
Mhm.
correct, but if you want to go ahead as the new person from Oregon to being a South Carolinian and want to email Aisha, she can get you potentially connected in with those leaders because she has been going and scheduling trainings with them,
And
and would love to get you access to those pieces in Ori.
I am putting my email address in the chat there. So please email me, because yes, I do have some connections, especially as you're looking to find community there in Horry County. We can get you connected. So thank you so much for that question, and thank you for wanting to get involved in advocacy. That's amazing. And again, welcome. All right, we have our next question is,
How many more questions do we have, Aisha?
so we've got four.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge that we're over time for anybody who
Mhm.
only scheduled an hour. This is being recorded, so feel free. We are going to finish all of the questions. And also, if you want to send us more questions, you can send it into any of our email addresses, or generally, if you have anything for WREN, you can do info@scren.org at any time. So I just wanted to give permission to folks. This will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube later today. And we are going to continue to verbally answer the questions until we get to the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
we aren't trying to hold you captive.
Thank you. Yes, if you must go, please. But I did put the our email address in the chat as well. So if you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Okay, so our next question is, what kinds of feedback have you gotten from supporters of Bill 4760, the abortion pill bill? And it's general, they're asking not lawmakers, but the general public. They are trying to target their email arguments to find out what they're thinking. So the question again is, what kinds of feedback have we gotten from supporters of Bill 4760?
We have not had direct
I'm sorry,
conversations.
I'm sorry, the
Okay.
lawmakers, not the, I read that backwards. Yes, from the lawmakers, not the general public.
Those who support 4760 are trying to say that they're very upset at the fact that people in South Carolina can access these medications even though they tried to restrict abortion in the state of South Carolina. So fundamentally, they're big mad that any of us could travel to a clinic out of state or that we can get the medication mailed to us from another state. They are trying to say that somehow this is harmful to women and girls in this state to be able to access this medication. And that's why they're trying to weaponize the criminalization of drugs with the rescheduling. But fundamentally, it is an abortion ban. They are upset that we can access healthcare in other ways, and they do not want us to do that. And then they acknowledge that those medications can be used for many other treatments and they're okay with limiting the access to medication for other treatments just to get their anger out on people accessing abortion care.
Okay. And so the next we have is a statement, not a question,
Thank
but
you for that
again,
question.
oh,
No, you're good,
no.
Aisha. I just wanted to thank her.
Oh,
We don't know who
Sorry.
gave it yet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
No.
So this next one that was submitted is a statement, not a question. But again, I don't have a question, but I've been on birth control since the age of 18. At one time, I went to go off of it, but went through severe depression. I went back on it and I'm currently 77 years old. I use it now as hormone replacement therapy. I feel it's helped me in many ways, with skin, cholesterol, hot flashes, etc. And I would be devastated if I was forbidden to get my birth control pills. Thank you for your work in these matters.
Thank you for
Thank
that
you for
comment.
being with
Yeah,
us. Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And the next question is the follow-up to the physician question.
Well,
It says, you did answer the question, just wanting to make sure my providers support legislation that protects women and girls and seeing if there's a good way to find out that information to make more informed choices.
and I will do one follow up with that is the next time you're at your provider appointment, if you feel comfortable, you can ask their position on any of those pieces if you are comfortable, or you could make a phone call to that office and ask the provider to potentially get back to you on that. I will say that some health systems do not allow individual providers to engage in political advocacy, as they call it. So they may be supportive of you as a patient, but they may not speak out against it in order to keep maintain their job in a healthcare system. So I also want to give that caveat. But I do personally, I see Dr. Knowlton, and I have asked him. He delivered Vera Vito. I, at point blank period, asked him all the list of questions when I got to my appointments on the ways that he would treat me as a patient based on his personal views, and that made a decision on whether or not I would still see him or not. So you're
Yeah.
allowed to ask questions. You pay them.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
Any other
that was
questions?
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually our last question. And I don't see any additional questions in the chat. I did see someone ask about the WIN rep excuse me, WREN web address. So I did answer that question in the Q&A. But yep, no additional questions or comments in the chat. And that was, oh, wait, we just had one more question pop up. Okay, this is a resource. Thank you so much. This is a resource for Horry County, which we talked about. So I will be sharing that information as well. So thank you very much for that. But that's all the questions. And again, there are none in the chat.
All right, Katie, take us away to the ending.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for your questions. A lot of good questions here. If you think of any later, please feel free to reach out to us. I always want to put how you can help at the end of these webinars. So like we talked about, join trainings, webinars, or letter writing workshops, like Aisha talked about, with our Advocacy 101 or letter writing, whatever feels good for you. You can take quick actions on our Action Center on our website. It has each of the different bills, our stances on them, and then it'll, if you put in your legislator or like your address, it'll pull up your legislator, and there will be a form letter for you to, you can edit or you can send as is. So you can use our Action Center to do that quickly. And just reiterating, share your story if you feel comfortable. It's a very powerful advocacy tool. And we also have our Storyteller Initiative if you would like us to help with your storytelling. And then just stay ready to act when the General Assembly returns. I'm saying returns in the sense of like they're back in session next week. So just stay ready. We'll keep you updated. And then just a reminder, 4760 can be on the floor. That's the abortion medication bill, can be on the floor as early as Tuesday. So please take action on our Action Center, call your rep, let them know that South Carolina does not need this and it is worse for it. But we are over time. Thank you so much, Ashley, for taking the time and sitting with us and hanging out. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are so glad to have you on our side, on our team. And like I said earlier, many times before, we could not do this work without you. So I hope you have a great weekend. If you're in a space that might get snow, please stay warm. Crazy to say in South Carolina. I moved from Pennsylvania to get away from this. But just stay safe, take care of yourself, and thank you again.